You're sitting alone in your car. The engine is off. No music, no notifications. Just a piece of paper on the seat beside you. It has your name on it. Enough money to fix what was broken. Enough to put everything back the way it was. This is the moment people talk about when they say, things worked out. But your hand doesn't move, because signing it wouldn't just rebuild what you lost. It would send you back into a life you're no longer sure you want. The quiet gets heavier, not because you don't know what to do, but because you do. This is where Samuel finds himself. 55 years old, sitting in his truck, a wildfire behind him. A check in front of him, and one decision that will quietly decide who he becomes next. Samuel lives out of his truck now, not because he planned to, because that's what was left. The back seat holds a few tools, a change of clothes, and a folded blanket that never quite keeps the cold out. In the mornings, he parks near the temporary shelter and waits until the day feels ready to start. He doesn't talk much about the fire. Most people don't ask anymore. During the day, he fixes things. A loose hinge, a door that won't close, a step that dips when someone puts their weight on it. Nothing important, nothing anyone would pay for. But his hands remember what to do before his thoughts catch up. Measure, hold, tighten. People thank him quietly. Some don't say anything at all, just nod and step aside. At night, he returns to the truck. The same seat, the same silence. That check is still there, folded, untouched. Rebuilding would be easier to explain. This life doesn't come with a clear answer, but for now, it's the one he is standing in. People assume the decision is simple. Rebuild the house, go back to work, put things where they used to be. That's what makes sense. Samuel hears it in the way questions are asked. So, what's the plan? When are you rebuilding? They don't mean to pressure him. They're just offering him a way back to something familiar. And sometimes, late at night sitting in the truck with the windows cracked open, Samuel almost agrees with them. Rebuilding is safe, predictable. He knows exactly how it would go. He could picture it clearly, the frame going up, the walls closing in, the roof taking shape. He's done it before. He knows how to finish things like that. But then there are the other days. The days when he shows up at the shelter and someone steps aside without asking, already trusting his hands. The quiet relief on people's faces when something finally stops wobbling. The way small repairs turn into longer conversations, then into silence. It feels shared. Those moments don't come with a timeline. They don't promise stability. They don't look like a future you can explain to anyone else. And that's what unsettles him. At night, doubt creeps in. Not loud, not dramatic. Practical, reasonable. Is this just avoidance? Is staying busy easier than choosing? He tells himself he's just waiting for clarity. Just taking time. But the longer the check stays folded on the seat beside him, the heavier it feels. Not because he doesn't know how to rebuild a house, but because rebuilding might mean walking away from something that finally feels honest. Some nights, the memories come without warning, not as a full picture. Just pieces, the smell of smoke before anyone said the word fire. The sky turning a dull, unnatural orange, the way the air felt heavier with every breath. 10 minutes. That was all the time they gave him. Samuel remembers walking through the house one last time. Not rushing, not slowing down either. His hands moved on their own. Wallet, phone, keys. He paused in the doorway, looking at the walls he built himself. Every cut measured twice, every beam set by hand. He didn't tell himself it was goodbye. There wasn't time for that kind of thought. That night, he slept in the truck on the side of the road. The radio kept repeating the same words. Contained damage. Los until they stopped meaning anything. By morning, the house was gone. In the days that followed, people asked questions he didn't know how to answer. Did you lose everything? He nodded, because it was easier. What he didn't tell them was this. The hardest part wasn't watching the fire burn. It was standing on the blackened ground afterward, holding a set of keys to a door that no longer existed. Even now, Sometimes, he still reaches into his pocket without thinking, still feels the shape of them in his hand. That house had been more than a place to sleep. It was proof that he could finish something, that he could build a life that stayed. And losing it didn't just take away a roof. It quietly took away the version of himself who believed he knew where he belonged. The call came early, before the day had fully settled in. A family at the shelter needed help. Not a loose hinge, not something quick. Their small trailer had water damage. The floor felt soft underfoot. The frame didn't hold the way it should. Samuel walked around it slowly, hands in his pockets. He could already see what the work would take. Hours, strength, focus, and no pay. For the first time since the fire, the doubt wasn't quiet. Itmid-sensei, it spoke clearly. He thought about the check, how that money could put him back on solid ground, how rebuilding would mean fewer risks, Someone nearby mentioned contractors. Someone else said it might be better to wait. Samuel nodded. For a moment, he almost stepped back. Then he noticed the kids sitting on the curb a few feet away. Their legs swung slowly, heels scraping the pavement. They weren't asking for anything, just watching. His hands moved before his thoughts finished arguing. He took off his jacket, set his tools down. The work was harder than he expected. His back started to ache halfway through. His arms shook when he lifted the frame into place. At one point, he wondered if he was being careless, giving away the little stability he still had. This wasn't a distraction anymore. This was a choice with a cost. By late afternoon, the trailer finally held its shape. The floor no longer dipped. The frame stayed still when he pressed his weight against it. Samuel sat down on the steps, slower than usual. His shirt was damped with sweat. His hands burned. For a moment, he waited for regret. Instead, a child stepped out of the trailer, holding a chipped mug with both hands. He stopped in front of Samuel, studying him carefully. "Here," the boy said, offering the mug. Samuel hesitated, then took it. The drink had gone lukewarm, but he didn't mind. The boy glanced back at the trailer, then at Samuel again. "It doesn't shake anymore," he said. A short pause. "This feels like home now." Samuel didn't answer. He stared at the mug, at the ground beneath his boots, something in his chest loosened out all at once, but enough to notice. In that moment, the check faded into the background. The house, the plan he was supposed to have. For the first time since the fire, he wasn't thinking about what he had lost or what he might get back. He was simply there. And somehow, that felt like enough. Samuel didn't sign the check that day. He didn't tear it up, didn't make a decision out loud. He simply folded it once and placed it back into the envelope. The days that followed didn't suddenly become easier. He still woke up stiff from sleeping in the truck. Money was still tight. The future still felt unfinished, but something had shifted. He kept showing up. One trailer turned into another. A loose stair became a broken door. A quick repair stretched into a long afternoon. People stopped asking when he would rebuild. They started asking when he would be back. Sometimes, late at night, doubt still crept in. He wondered how long he could keep living like this, whether choosing this path meant avoiding something he should face. The fear didn't disappear. It just lost its grip. It sat quietly beside him while he worked, no longer steering his hands. Samuel noticed small changes he hadn't expected. His shoulders weren't as tight. The heavy weight in his chest didn't stay there all day anymore. The loss was still part of him. He hadn't forgotten the house. He hadn't moved on, but it wasn't the only thing taking up space inside him now. One evening, after finishing another job, Samuel sat alone on the steps of a trailer and looked at his hands. Calloused, tired, steady. For the first time, he understood something without needing to explain it. He wasn't rebuilding a house. He was building a way of living that didn't depend on what could be taken away. The fire had already taken everything it could. What remained was what he chose to carry forward. Some losses don't give you a clear lesson. They don't tell you how to start over. They don't offer a plan. They leave you standing in a quiet place, wondering what still holds. Samuel never found a perfect answer. He didn't suddenly feel healed, He didn't feel certain about where his life was headed. What he noticed instead was smaller. Even after everything burned down, there was still something in him that knew how to show up. Not loudly, not heroically, just steadily. The fire took his house. It took the shape of the life he thought he would keep, but it didn't take his hands. It didn't take his patience. It didn't take his ability to make a place feel steady for someone else. And maybe that's what matters most after loss. Not what you manage to rebuild, but what you choose to bring forward when there's nothing left to lean on. Sometimes, a new life doesn't begin with answers. It begins the moment you realize you are still here, and you still have something to offer. If this story stayed with you, don't rush away from it. Loss doesn't always come to destroy. Sometimes it comes quietly, just to ask what you're still holding on to that no longer lets you grow. If you feel like it, you can share what this moment stirred in you. Not an explanation, just a feeling. And if you choose to stay, there's another story waiting. It's about something that did everything right, stayed patient, stayed careful, never asked for more than it was given, until one day it was taken away anyway. No warning, no explanation. What happened after that changed everything.